Very seldom do you ever have a kid visit you at two schools. He visited us early in his senior year on his official visit, and then I left and came to Arkansas. And I wasn't going to recruit him because I wanted Wisconsin to recruit him. And Doug called me, his high school coach, and said, Coach, when he heard the news, he came out of his room just bawling his eyes out because he wanted to come play for me at Wisconsin. I said, well, if you sign off on it and if Alex wants me to recruit him, we'll make a swing at it. So we did, and it really got down to, I think, us and a little bit of Miami, because I think he wanted to be a part of our offense. So one of the things that we had to do is he has to have somebody sign for him, and we knew his mom wasn't going to sign papers to go to Wisconsin. She had made that very clear. We went on a home visit. It was a very nice home visit, very civil. Got a little volatile for a little bit, and then it came back down. We walked out, everybody's giving hugs. One of the things I love to do when I'm with a young man in a home that he's been in is I say, hey, let's take a walk. So I grabbed Alex. You got to watch sometimes where you're walking in Fort Lauderdale. And I was with Alex, and he walked me down his block. And he pointed out people's houses that had been there since he was a little kid. Talked about different times during his life. And he looked at me and he said, Coach, this walk is why I want you to know I'm going to get out of here and come be with you. And I'm like, you tell me you're coming? He said, yep. And he goes, but you know why I can't tell everybody else? I said, yep. And he gave me a hug, and I knew he was coming. And he had a really good relationship with Charlie Partridge, our D-line coach back then. And he didn't even tell Charlie. And so Charlie came to me a couple days before signing day. He goes, Coach, you know, Doug thinks we might want to send a couple scholarship papers because he thinks his mom might try to rip him up or do something. I'm like, well, hey, there's no limit on the number of scholarship papers you can send to the same kid. So we sent 3. It was planned for signing day. Doug had them laid out. And sure enough, Mom came through, grabbed the scholarship papers, and ran out the door. And we weren't there. We didn't want to hear about it, you know, right in front of the TV and everything. Alex, you know, broke down, felt bad for him. He was embarrassed. So, but we wanted to get the paper signed. So one of the things I did during his last visit is we went and visited his biological father, who is in his life but not in it all that much. So we went and saw him, and one of the things that I knew, Alex had told me, I always called Alex Alex. I never called him Budda. Budda was his nickname. And early on in his life, he had told me, I said, where'd you get the nickname Budda? And he said, my dad gave me the nickname. And I said, why do you call you Budda? He goes, I don't know. So I'm like, all right, that stuck in my mind. And so then I finally had a chance to meet his dad. And Alex wasn't around us. And I said to him, I said, hey, you know, one of the first things Alex told me about you was that you nicknamed him Budda. He like looked at me and he said, Alex has always been my lucky charm. He was always my lucky charm. He always had my color and he always had my resemblance. And I'll never forget that. I go to Alex later in the day and I said, hey, you got a chance to meet your dad? And he told me why he named you Budda. And he looked at me and he goes, why? He didn't know. And so I was like, it's amazing with kids, they just don't know what they don't know. And I told him the story and he kind of welled up a little bit, you know. And I think that kind of brought those two together a little bit more. So Alex thought it was because he had a big belly all his life, but it wasn't, because he was his dad's lucky charm.